Pisces, welcome back. We're here to do your zodiac sign and what I see coming through. A for the transits, B for the moon phases, because we are having an eclipse, and then into your romance house, career, wellness, and wealth. Now, without further ado, let's have a look at the transits. Now, number one is eclipses come in sets. We did have an eclipse last month. We still are working through that vibration. So even though we've moved away from it, it does set the tone for the next 6 to 12 months. So we still have that signature there. And especially because Jupiter is still in the house of Aries at the moment, we will be working on that for about the first 16 days. The other thing is this first moon that we are coming into the gate with is a full moon in Scorpio, which is going to be a lunar eclipse at 15 degrees on the 5th of May, 2023. So the first week is set to be quite intense indeed. The next is going to be a new moon in Taurus on the 19th of May, 2023, which is going to be at 28 degrees. And by that stage, we will have Jupiter in the house of Taurus and Mercury stationed direct. So as we do move in, as I mentioned, we're going to be having the first eclipse. The other thing to know is on the first day of the month, Pluto in Aquarius is retrograding. It is the first time in the zodiac sign it's doing such, and we can be reviewing these areas, which I will make mention of inside of your zodiac sign. It also can be quite intense in the first week, easy moving into the second week. So it's like the month is kind of split into two pockets. Also, bear in mind that this is the last south node eclipse during the nodal axis of Taurus and Scorpio. So this particular one is wrapping up a cycle which is even more intense. Mercury will be retrograde. As I mentioned, it's going to be retrograde until the 15th, where it goes station direct. And we will, during the first half of the month, be working with that Jupiter and Aries energy. So previous eclipse, Jupiter and Aries really trying to push those new beginnings, simultaneously dealing with past related dynamics. It's almost like we're at a T-section of the road going backwards and forwards. It is going to pan out in the end. We just need to keep our bearings. On the 16th, we have Jupiter exiting stage of Aries into the house of Taurus, which is going to be quite Venusian in style, things to do with money, trade, technology, value systems, wellness, stability, and the things we value. Things are going to get bigger. Venus currently is in the house of Gemini, which can mean that inside of connections, we need to be autonomous. We need to be quite independent thinkers. We also are going to really be attracted to intellectual stimulation. Unfortunately, because Mercury is retrograde, crosswires can occur. So try to keep your schedule quite fluid, especially when it comes to your work, your career, your value systems, and maybe even your schedule, because at a drop of a hat, spontaneity may be the best, definitely in Gemini style, but definitely because of Mercury retrograde. Venus then will enter the house of Cancer on the 7th of May, which I think is quite a unique thing, because at the same time, we still will have Mars in Cancer, which is deemed in its detriment. So creativity can be at an all-time high. Obsessiveness over our stability, our home and our family. Crosswires and arguments with those individuals are possible. But also wanting to beautify our homes, wanting to, sit back, have a barbecue, have a social situation at home, maybe sit back and watch a movie. We may be more homebodies really with that, even if we can't. So be aware that Mars in Cancer is in its detriment. It'll be there until the 20th, where we will have Mars transitioning over into the house of Leo. Around this time, what we can experience is subjects to do with, I would say kings, queens. It can be celebrities. They can be quite verbal and direct, but we also could have conflicts with these individuals. This could be also presidents and prime ministers, but identity-wise, we're going to have a more direct approach into the angle that we're wanting to go, and we can become quite obsessive in those Leo areas of life, which is going to be really strengthening our position in life. Now, without further ado, grab a cuppa. We're going to get straight into the moonology of how the two moon phases are going to hit your zodiac sign and then into romance. Moon phases. Let's have a look at it. First point of call, we need to look at Pluto retrograding. It is linking to your 12th house. So you can be going back in the vault and getting really up in your head. It is going to help you compartmentalize. But I would say, especially with any 12th house transit, it's probably a great time to really seek out an Aquarian. If you do have a fellow friend that's Aquarius, ask them how they have experienced the last 20 years of their life. Ask them how they dealt with their stress. It can be where we spiritually isolate ourselves and need a little bit of time, maybe feel like the black sheep of the family, but also need to kind of work out what we are very separate to tribe. So spiritually, I do feel if there's any dreams, if there's any concerns about the future, or if you've been up in your head about something, this time is going to really bring it to a head where it's going to come up in your mind very profoundly. These can be bold revelations and ideas. So journaling could be really great for you. I do feel with any of those reworkings, be it's your mindset, the 12th house can link to both positive and negative things. So at the higher octane, it can be spirituality, psychic energy, dream states, out of body experiences, gurus. It can be for going to therapy. It also can be the house of our own undoing. It's patterns and habits that we directly have. It's like, yeah, it's okay. I'll be fine sort of thing, but it can be patterns, so to speak. The other thing can be almost psychological closure. It's like, oh my gosh, do I believe in life after love? How do I jump in the deep end? Do I believe that I'm going to be successful? So it can be second guessing yourself. It also can link to mental asylums and prisons. And this could be a psychological prison. This could be a physical one. So keeping on the right side of the law would be one way to go about it. But the other is, I really feel it's to do with you spiritually really having these flashbacks and going, okay, that was the past. This is the here and now. Now, with my new cemented reality, what am I choosing to address now? What dreams do I want to bring to the forefront? This also can be society's expectations. The eclipse. The eclipse is going to be intense. It can link to the 9th house. This can be anything to do with study, travel, education, siblings. You can have subjects relating to siblings that come to a T section. But this also could be to do with a few things, okay? For some of you, if you're in a very toxic relationship, it can be to do with, okay, are our values on the same page? Do we get engaged? Do we separate? It's some sort of a transition that will be happening there. This also can be to do with a contract, but I also feel this can be to do with religious beliefs. Some of you can be attracted to individuals that are of foreign culture, and there also can be cultural-related dynamics that come to a head at this time. Whatever this ends up being for you individually, we can directly look at it more personally within your own individual birth chart. If you know where that is, feel free to PM me or to write under this update and I can give you a hand. Now, then we move to the middle of the month where we have the new moon in Taurus. And for you, this links to your 3rd house. This could be information that comes in. This could be signing of a contract. For some reason, I am seeing this really linking to wealth as well in a positive sense. It could be a brand new vehicle. It could be, and I really don't advise during Mercury retrograde. I've had 2 stories really where both my partner, previous tense, with the situation with the vehicle, as well as a good friend of ours, both received vehicles during a Mercury retrograde, and both of them absolutely ended up being lemons. One individual had to spend over 10 grand on this vehicle, even though he'd already spent that. So it's not the ideal time to actually do such. Anything technological or signing, if you can delay, it is better to do it as we move Mercury direct, at least, if you can. If you can't, keep your receipts, read all the fine print. Any contract you're reviewing at this point in time, it's going to be a big deal, okay? Because Jupiter's going to be transiting. So not only will we have Mercury direct, you're going to have information coming in steps you've got to take, paperwork to address, but this also could be conversation pieces, meetings, new day-to-day routines, a new diet. This also can be transactions. So it can be, wow, okay, lottery wins. How else can it play out? Signing of a contract, reviewing the facts, and knowing what maybe the statement piece is. Okay, I've got this brand new job, and so what is my contract? And it's like, oh, you're going to get 50,000 a year, and then you realize that you're doing double of what that 50 is worth. So really good to read all the fine print and then make sure that you know what you're getting into. But definitely around wealth, money, home, utility. Some of you also, because it's Taurus and energy, it could be you're looking at solar energy and things to that degree. Let's look at your romance house and how this can play out for singles and couples. Number one, I would say, is there's a lot to do with you emotionally. Because we have Saturn in your zodiac sign and Neptune, some of you can feel this great deal of pressure. Subjects to do with bones and teeth, which I should mention within your health sector, but we'll mention it here, entering the gate. Overall, your attitude coming into relationships, there can be a bit of a pressure cooker going. I do feel you're really going to be putting a lot of energy and attention into home zone, into your emotions, valuing, and it's almost like family values are going to come into the equation of how you relate to love at this point in time. There is a possibility of pregnancy. So be it you're single or couple, be very careful where it does come to such. I also feel there's passion and there's war happening simultaneously. So it can be very hot and cold. And I feel there is a change you spiritually are going through this month, and you may just need to be very patient with yourself. It's not going to remain that way, but I definitely feel a major conversation pending, especially for those of you that feel you're in a very unhealthy relationship. The frustration level can really be spiking. Those of you that are really in a happy relationship, there can be a lot of communication about the future. There can be some angst in expressing how you are dealing with stress levels and how you see the future moving. And I also do feel overall it's going to be positive, but you need to be realistic during the first half of the month. I do feel there can be subjects towards your wellness. You also could have very bold changes in a conversation piece about what your expectations are and what theirs are. I do feel there is a potential you could be a bit strict with yourself and say, I'm not going to say anything, but I do feel for most of you, you're going to articulate it. Now, those of you that are single, this is a window this month where people from the past have a potential of coming back. Some of you also, at a drop of a hat, may be traveling. There can be difficulties with travel. And that is because Mercury is retrograde. So it could even be that you're looking at the bigger picture and going, okay, I need to knuckle down now. I need to get things done. Maybe I should put that on the back burner. Whatever has been put on the back burner might be coming to a head. There also could be a situation surrounding, do we take this connection further? Do we get engaged? Do we get married? Do we go our separate ways? It's going to be very individual for each of you because of your own direct personal transits within your chart. So look to the placements, understand what they link to, and be aware that there is an opportunity for intensity, but great passion during this month. As we move to the second pocket of the month, I do feel there can be romantic conversations. I do feel you can be expressing what your needs are inside the connection. There also can be some very loving and spontaneity within the energy. I just keep getting the War of the Roses. Now, that doesn't have to be something negative. It's almost like this Mr. and Mrs. Smith vibration I see coming through for your zodiac sign. Now, as for your career, you do have a lot on your plate. It's going to be important to be organized, especially where it does come to wealth. Old situations can come back on the table. And even if you are in a superior position, some of you could be questioning, am I doing the right thing here? Am I on the right track? Can I handle this? Do I want to handle this? So there can be some question mark. If you've had intensity there in the wealth zone, it is set to ease up as we transition through. Pluto exiting Capricorn as we do reach the following year is going to ease that dynamic. But I definitely see there could be some new wealth coming in. You might have had an added expense last month, but I definitely see for some of you there can be pay rises, especially in the first 15 days. I do feel some of you can be looking at contracts. This can be the physical working location is moving. This can be home-based businesses. I see some of you could be doing some side hustles. Whatever it be, there can be some frustration cross wires that are happening. So really make sure that you understand this is very possible. Some of you are feeling you're going backwards or there's a delay in information coming towards you. Be patient with it. The information will reveal itself and you will know the best course of action to move forward. I also feel you're going to be quite rushed as we do reach mid-month. But I don't think this is for a negative thing. I think this is a very assertive thing. It's like, right, we need to get some structure and organization in here. And that can be in your own individual life and how you show up at work or if you're running a team. Also, this can be in relation to your business management and being assertive and putting the best foot forward. Overall, the second part of the month can bring some real blessings. And I do feel also financially. Wellness and wealth kind of are in hand. Keeping yourself well means you're going to earn more. As to income, I do feel there's lady luck. This can come in the shape and form of lotteries. This added expenses can come down to food for you guys this month. Make sure to listen to the wellness section of this because it's going to give you tips per zodiac sign of how to navigate and how to care for your body during these transits. I also feel there can be beautification of home and money spent in that domain. Later in the month, it's going to be quite social, and there can be some push-pull dynamics where it comes to, do we spend money on home? Do we spend money on socializing? If you're individually doing such, I also feel there could be some anxiousness, but I also feel there's grand ideas, the way you're wanting to live and moving towards retirement, what you're wanting to do, future sense, signing of any contract, looking at investment property, whatever that be, I do think you can be really meditating upon that and you're wanting the finer detail. Wages also can come in, and I do feel there's some strictness around your money at the moment. And I feel if some of you could really be reviewing your books. It's like, okay, where is the money going? What are we spending it on? What can we knuckle down on? What can we pour it into for some of our goals? And it doesn't have to be a we, it can be me, i.e. Regardless, I do think you're going to get harmony and there can be some financial benefits this month. I also feel some of you are needing to invest in your dreams. There could be pacifiers that you're using more so. And again, we'll mention that in the house of health. Now, as to this month where it does come to health, because we have the eclipse in Scorpio, Pluto retrograde, the first pocket of the month, it can be, especially with Mercury retrograde, that we are very cautious of what we are eating and drinking. Our vibration can be more sensitive. This can be to meat. Definitely checking the use by dates, keeping the surface clean, really noting what your body is craving. Is it sugar? Is it really that you're going off your food? Pacifiers also can be problematic near the eclipse and moving towards the new moon in Taurus. You may find you eat more. The other thing is, because you have been having Jupiter moving through your house, I do feel there is an opportunity to eat more, okay? Jupiter transiting through your third house can show that you may be craving sweets. You could be craving the nice things in life. And so you may need to really be cautious with that. There also could be an expansion where it comes to something with a vehicle you're wanting to do, maybe a purchase of a vehicle. Some of you also, as a perk through work, could be receiving a vehicle or buying new technology. If you're going to do such, I'd probably do it towards mid-month. But as for eating and socializing, I think there can be money spent both on home, on family, children, and love. As we move further into the month, it can be health-related. Some of you may actually join a gym. Anything else I need to tell you? Be careful near the moon in Taurus because your nervous system can be a little bit more agitated. So especially with Pluto retrograding and the new moon in Taurus and Jupiter entering Taurus, keep your hydration, adequate. Make sure that you're checking that. Make sure you're having food groups that are really supporting you with fatty acids with your nervous system. Mercury also can cause throat-related dynamics. Really feeling quite run down. Spiritually, I feel You know what you want to do, you know where you want to go, but there could be the tension points around it. Now, if you do want me to give you a personal booking for me to look at your birth chart or psychically tune into such, feel free. The information is directly below. Otherwise, I will see you next month for your update, or feel free to come and join us on YouTube for the Twin Flame Path.